Nachi free.
Uber CEO and co-founder Travis Kalanick's video arguing with an actual Uber driver over fares, plus the recent driverless Uber car accident and the supposed diversity problems his company is facing, serve as very interesting learning lessons in economics and politics that ultimately affect all of our lives. I'm going to begin with the argument Travis had with his Uber driver in the video. Here it is.
Good to see you, man. Thank you. Good to see you too. I don't know if you remember me, but it's fine. The new people, the old people, 2010. Yeah. Yes, super legit, but we got 15
So we are reducing the number of black cars on the system over the next 6 months.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, you probably saw some of the emails.
I said the email starts in May. It's all about the rating.
Yeah.
But you're raising the standards and you're dropping the prices.
We're not dropping the price on black.
But in general, the whole price.
Yeah, we have to. We have competitors. Otherwise, we go out of business.
Competitors, man. You had the business model in your hands. You could have the prices you want, but you choose to buy everybody a ride.
No. You're misunderstanding. We started high end. We didn't go low end because we wanted to. We went low end because we had to, because we had to.
What, a lift? That's a piece of cake right there.
No, it seems like a piece of cake because I've beaten them. But if I didn't do the things I did, we would have been beaten, I promise.
Higher. We could go higher and more expensive. You get the best.
So here's the thing. We could do Lux in San Francisco, so I have guys working on Lux, which will be 50 to 75% more expensive than
But
black.
people are not trusting you anymore. Do you think people will buy cars anymore? Unless they buy them through the invoice. Otherwise, nobody want to buy a car. I lost $97,000 because of you. I bankrupt because of you.
Look.
Yes.
You know what?
You keep changing every day. You keep changing
Hold on a
every
second.
day.
What have I changed about black?
Huh?
What
you
have I
changed
changed?
the whole business.
What?
You dropped the prices.
On black.
Yes, you did.
Bullshit.
We started with $20.
Bullshit.
We started with $20.
You know what?
How much is the mile now? $2.75?
You know what?
What?
Some people don't like to take responsibility for
I
their
take
own shit.
responsibility.
They blame everything
But
in
why
their
you
life on
sending an
somebody
email
else.
for town car?
Good luck.
Good luck to you too, but I know you don't gonna go far.
Now, you could say that Travis was being an insensitive jerk with one of the very people who was doing the physical labor of driving cars around that have made Travis a multi-millionaire. But what Travis is saying to the cab driver is a sad but true reality that is hard for many to swallow. But the sooner more people swallow that bitter pill, the better off they'll be. However, I wouldn't tell someone who is literally helping me build my business that he is avoiding self-responsibility and blaming his problems on others. That cab driver is taking self-responsibility to make ends meet. For someone as fortunate and dare I say privileged as Travis Kalanick, to tell an employee who is arguably risking his life driving strangers around the city, Travis could have and should have been a little more understanding and polite. You can say that same message in a much cordial way. The economic reality of this world is very hard to digest. It's not for nothing why so many people who do not understand basic economics gravitate towards socialism. Working is not fun, and building a multi-billion-dollar empire requires not only a lot of work and risk, but you almost have to be an asshole. You have to enjoy and relish a challenge, as Travis unwittingly explains earlier in the video.
My year is coming up, maybe 40.
I make sure every year is
And the majority of people who work regular jobs for a living, myself included, don't seem to entirely understand that. And that's the tricky thing. To a certain degree, we need to allow the Travis Kalanicks of the world to do their thing, if and as long as they're not making people's lives insufferable. I don't have a problem with a guy like Travis Kalanick, who is younger than I am, being richer beyond my wildest dreams. I don't envy him, and I don't care to shake him down for money either. But some other people do. People like Eric Holder, Fast and Furious, Ariana Huffington, ugh, can't stand that hypocrite, and of course the Reverend Jesse Jackson, which by the way there's nothing reverend about that guy in my opinion, because this holy trinity of shameless hypocrites are all pushing Uber for more diversity. Apparently they take issue that Uber isn't hiring enough blacks, females, gays, or whatever other marginalized group they're exploiting. On the surface, that seems like the humanitarian thing to do. Kind of like when Jesse Jackson met with Fidel Castro back in 1984 for the release of political prisoners, while also legitimizing his murderous dictatorship that was oppressing millions of Cubans. But let me not get sidetracked. The reason why I wanted to point this out is because, in my humbilissimo opinion, I don't think this is simply about diversity. This, as always, is about some people lining their pockets with as much money as possible. And in the case of Arianna Huffington, according to the story, she's an Uber board member. And she's probably more concerned about her bottom line than diversity, which I don't blame her. However, it does become a problem when you want to make companies prioritize diversity over meritocracy. And that's when you push companies to be extra nice instead of competent, you end up with disasters. Now, I'm not saying that this accident happened because of diversity. This, aside from being a freak accident, is probably more a result of a company that is trying to grow too fast and rake in as much money at whatever cost possible. But coming back to the diversity issue, apparently there are some serious problems with Uber, where one of their executives was forced to resign for supposedly propositioning a female employee for sex. Yes, that's a problem, and that needs to stop. And if Uber is going out of its way to not hire blacks or women or gays or any other qualified candidates because of genuine discrimination, yes, that needs to stop too, of course. And this is where it kind of gets tricky. Finding that right balance in society between economic growth and human dignity. Finding that balance between the rapacious drive of overachieving entrepreneurs like Travis Kalanick, who create jobs for thousands of people, like Uber drivers, who are not as fortunate or even as ambitious, and yet they just want to earn a decent living without stepping on people's toes. It's also tricky to find the right balance between preserving human rights and dignity, but not using that as an opportunity for corporate extortion through bullshit diversity training courses and mandates that drive up the cost of business and ultimately the cost of living for the rest of us, while a few people stuff their pockets. This is why politics and economics are so hard to digest for most people, despite the fact that it affects our lives in immeasurable ways. Most people don't like talking about this, but we need to. That's why it's important to read between the lines of many of the stories coming out nowadays that seem intent on punishing entrepreneurship and self-responsibility while rewarding supposed diversity and almost silencing free speech through victimhood and entitlement. Because among the other headlines that I read, this one also caught my eye. YouTube's better than TV pitch undermined by offensive video. I'll save that rant for my next video. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe by clicking on my face, and if you want to support this channel, click on the Patreon logo or donate via paypal.me/homegrown.